Hello, here's everything I cook, bake, and eat in a day as a vegan on a budget. In the morning, I started with a pour over coffee. Currently, I'm on a tiramisu flavor, which as you might expect, tastes like coffee. For my food, I had a handful of raspberries, blueberries, and then some of this protein granola from Nature's Path. As you can see, the sun was up while I was eating my breakfast. I slept in on this day. I slept until like 6 o'clock. What a luxury. And I finished reading The Houses of Rebecca by Renee Gladman on this morning, which I already reviewed for you. And then I went to the gym. Lately, I've been doing my heavy leg day on Saturday mornings. So here's me doing some hack squats. Possibly the most unflattering angle of them there is. And then I took a shower and got all greased up for the day. For lunch, I started making buffalo tofu nuggets. I got the recipe from the account Shreya's Kitchen 2. This one starts by boiling the tofu in like a salty marinade, which changes the structure of the tofu in a way that I enjoy. And then it has both a wet and dry coating, so it gets a nice thick crunchy crust, you know? So I made my little battering station and I put those off to the side and made some ranch dressing with some ranch mix, mayonnaise, and some soy milk. And I just whisked that on up and put it in my fridge for a while. And then I started battering my tofu pieces, which you have to do kind of delicately. The boiling does make them very flavorful, but also they're not super firm, so you gotta be careful. Once I got those all battered, I brushed them with a little bit of oil and put it in the oven on convection for a while. And then I chopped up a head of iceberg lettuce and then I dressed it with my ranch dressing. And I added some extra vegetables, so I had one mini cucumber left. I added some tomatoes and slices of red onion, and then I made my buffalo sauce, which is just a little bit of margarine, salted and mixed with some hot sauce. I used the Food Lion store brand, which to me is basically indistinguishable from Frank's Red Hot. I'm sorry if that's blasphemous to you. And I assembled the salads and I put some corn snacks on top because I recently discovered that corn snacks are something everybody should be putting on their salads. And this is a really good tofu nugget recipe. It turned out delicious. And then tomorrow is the potluck for my Quaker meeting, which is usually on the first Sunday, but we moved it due to some extenuating circumstances. So something that I started making is a peach cornbread donut loaf from Obsessed with Cashews, which starts by making a cornmeal crumble with some cold butter. And then I started making the cake part, which also has cornmeal in it, brown sugar, regular sugar, oil, milk. Also, basically all of her recipes have non-dairy yogurt in them, which I think adds a really beautiful texture. I did make a mistake here and I substituted canned peaches for fresh, which I think is why what happened. But that's okay. You just put your batter in and then add your peach layer, swirl it around a little bit, add more of your batter on top, put on that nice crumble to finish, and then throw it in the oven. I did have to bake this for a little bit longer than suggested. I did more like 75 minutes. Pulled it out and let it cool for a while, and then I made a glaze with powdered sugar and then the leftover juice from my can of peaches. I poured that glaze on top and let it set for a little while, but when I took it off the parchment, it completely crumbled. It was still fully cooked though, and so I just put it in a casserole dish, and it's casserole now. Anyway, then I went to this outdoor live music thing. My friends was celebrating her birthday. I got this burrito. It's got beans, rice, lettuce, a lot of guacamole, and pico de gallo in it. It was pretty decent. There was also a cotton candy maker there with tons of different flavors, and I got the banana one, and it was so huge, but it really didn't taste much like banana at all, but it was still really good. I just love cotton candy. And then I sat and I knit in the grass with my friends, and we listened to some live music. It was very moody and reminded me of stuff that I listened to in high school. And then we sat around while the sun went down, and there were fireflies, and it was lovely. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Love you. Bye.